Hey guys, I know I am really late with How to Get Away with Murder, so I'm not going to do a full review of it. I'm just going to say my thoughts. I literally just watched it right now. It's Monday, so just watched it right now, and it's been a lot going on. So, wow. And I know Shonda's always good for the OMG moments and everything, because jumping off of last episode when Vivian came to Annalise's house and she was like, oh, you don't know what happened between Sam and Hannah, his sister. And I was like, what she mean? If y'all look at my last video at the end, I'm like, what was that about? What happened between them? And it was always that whole thing between them about how territorial she was over Sam, how she never liked any woman in Sam's life or whatnot, and how she just always would overly insert herself into Sam's life and always call on him and for stuff or whatever. So I'll do like a quick recap of just, I'm trying to wrap my head around. So it jumps back to when they're still at her house and they're talking, and then she was like, what if the reason why she like always didn't like us or whatever was because her and Sam, there was incest that happened. And then she was like, what? No. And then Annalise was like in denial, but then this whole episode, throughout the whole episode, it was all flashbacks of certain things that were being pieced together in Annalise's mind, and she was finding out some stuff that Vivian had going on with Sam that she didn't even know. Just like when he wanted to see Gabriel, and he wrote that letter, that email to her, said he'll do anything and he wants to, be with her, and all my love and all that. We get to see her side of that. She actually did write him back, and they actually did ended up seeing each other, but Gabriel was not there, and then they smashed, and I was like, wow. And then she finds out about him losing a child, and that kind of just threw everything off, because it's like, are you just coming here because you and Annalise lost a baby and you just want to make it up with being in Gabriel's life? Because Gabriel was like maybe 10 at this point. Like, why are you gonna try to jump and be in his life now? So it was just a lot. And then this episode is called What If Sam's Not the Bad Guy? So excuse me, y'all, it was just a lot going on. And and at the beginning of the episode, Frank and Nate were in the car or whatnot, and they were talking about how he killed Xavier, and he was like, let him handle it. They were like, we need to go, because Frank's like, let's go dispose of the body. He was like, no, let me handle it. I'll handle it. If we got to do this my way, or I'm just going to get buck wild when I get on the stand and start talking about people. So Nate, y'all already said how I don't like Nate's, the way Nate's character has developed, but I mean, I guess it's needed for whatever they're trying to, directions Shonda and them are trying to go on the show or whatnot. But again, throughout the whole episode, it was all these things and reasons where Annalise was kind of second guessing, like maybe there was something more going on between Sam and Hannah, and I'm like, that's just so sad and gross. And remember, what Vivian was pointing out, how do you think Sam was always so good at manipulating us and everything, because he learned it from, it was a learned behavior. It's pretty much what she's saying. And Hannah is his older sister. I don't know by how much, but yeah. So we saw through the whole episode, it was moments, it would even go back to Flash when even Annalise kind of said some stuff about incest and put your brother to the test because he knows best, or some freak weird shit that Annalise said to her back in the past. So it was talks and thoughts in Annalise's, the back of her mind. And when her and Sam, lost their baby, Sam was just going through so much stuff, and they couldn't just relate to each other, because she was, broken up inside, and he wanted to do stuff like bury the baby, have some type of service, and she wanted no part of it. and he was saying that he was going to see Hannah or whatnot when he was actually going to see Vivian that last time or whatnot. And Frank was calling him, and he was like, "Oh, I want to it's you said you were with Hannah. I just wanted to thank her because she's the one that got me out of jail and all this." And he was like, "How dare you? I wouldn't let you talk to my sister. In what world would I let you talk to my sister when you killed my son or whatnot?" And I always wonder why he kept Frank so close and everything. So it was just like, yeah, and like and he killed your baby. Like, I mean, I know it was like a lot behind that, but it was crazy and whatnot. And it showed the little development of how Bonnie and Frank were together and their little 20 something romances. Y'all, Bonnie with that wig on and Frank with his wig on. They was looking a hot mess. And during this whole time in present day, Annalise told Tegan to look into any type of investigate any past stuff that could prove that what Vivian has, speculated about Sam and Hannah to be true. And then she wasn't finding nothing for the longest time. And what else was going on? Remember, Michaela and Connor had got arrested again because they had said that they were being coerced by the FBI, that white dude agent or whatnot. And even Michaela was like, well, we have to renegotiate your deal if you guys are gonna be able to go back on the stand because of how he was pretty much made look corrupt, or like the department FBI was looking corrupt on how they coerced Michaela and Connor, and they held them, I don't know, for like a day or so, it seems like. And they both kept saying they're gonna renegotiate the deal. We have to. Do you want to know what's the new deal? Because and then Michaela was like, I'm not agreeing to that. That's crazy. And then Connor was like, he wasn't doing it either. And then the FBI agent dude was like, oh, well, you might change your tune when I bring your husband into this or whatnot. And then he even told the FBI agent dude, like, even if I go to prison, I'm going to spend every minute in prison trying to take you down as being dirty. Also, it jumps to when Bonnie brakes were cut or whatnot. Nate investigated that, and he was trying to so we found out what his angle was when it came to not going to the FBI, not disposing of Xavier's body and all that stuff. He was trying to see if he could find any connection with Xavier and that FBI agent who was clearly dirty and who killed Asher. And so when Bonnie had her brakes cut, like, I don't know, a year ago or whatnot, it turns out she was like 2 blocks away. So she's the one that did that shit. So he gave that evidence to the white dude, FBI agent, and he was like, well, we'll see if you actually look into this agent, where you actually stand, or are you dirty or not too? Are you working for the Castillos too? Turns out he actually did investigate homegirl, and at the end of the episode we saw she was being interrogated and I think she had cuffs on her or whatnot, so they're bringing her down, and she was like, yeah. So it says she's been in contact with them for over the past like year and a half, for the Castillos and Xavier in general. So back to the whole Sam thing, it was a bunch of different moments between Annalise and Sam, and talking about like how he was saying he was broken, he was damaged, and what if there's stuff about me that you wouldn't want to know or you wouldn't accept me and all that. And then even she was like, what is it? And he just never fully opened up to Annalise. And there was a moment when Bonnie in present day and Bonnie and Annalise were talking, and she was like, well, what if she was like, I think I believe Vivian after thinking back. And then she was like, how other way would he know how to help us, heal us, and as far as like telling us that we were kids and all that, and it's not our fault, but he had that gift to help us, but he never had anybody tell him that. So it was just like real sad. She was like, that just makes me see Sam, really see him in a whole different way. And it kind of does turn out like, what if he wasn't the bad guy? Like, what if he was just a troubled, abused child, and that was like the source, the main reason for his actions and how he made the moves that he made or whatnot. So from there, I knew this was something because Frank was at Captain and Gold with Annalise, and then she was like, "Will you stop bleeding everywhere?" Because he had messed up his knuckles beating up Xavier or whatnot. And I was like, "What? They gonna get his DNA?" I thought, like, I knew that they panned to the Band-Aid and everything, so I knew it was something. And then the last final scene, y'all, because I want to let y'all go and I don't want to talk too much on it because I know it's old, but if y'all still rocking with me and y'all ain't seen the episodes yet and y'all watching it now, then we can talk about it. So she goes and she was like talking to Tegan because they were like, damn, we can't find no evidence of him and her being together. But another thing that was, Frank said that his mom knew Hannah back in the day when they were in high school. I was like, how did they even know each other and all that? And he was like, I could ask, my aunt and see or whatnot. And then it turns out that when they were looking at old high school yearbooks and all this other stuff, Tegan was like, we couldn't find nothing. And then Annalise was looking like, why was she absent for it was like 83 days or some shit? And then she's like, oh, she had mono. Don't nobody have mono for that damn long. Okay. So Annalise was like, unless it wasn't mono. And then they were like, let's look at. So they looked and tried to find any doctor's records that had her maternity ward or anything. They couldn't find it, but their family had money. So it was easily something that could be covered up. But then she was like looking, and then she was like, well, what if she had the baby right in March or something? And then she was like, paused and thought, and then Annalise went and looked in her phone, and she was like, Annalise, who was born in March? And I was like, oh, hell to the no. And then it jumps to Tegan going to get DNA tests or whatnot, and then she was like, they tested it and everything, and then they did a rush test, and then it jumps back to Annalise talking to, Frank and Bonnie was doing it that night or whatnot because they was rekindling their love and talking about some Sam kept them apart, whatever. And then she immediately calls Bonnie over to the house, and then she was like, I found proof that of Hannah and Sam were intimate together. She's like, what? She's like, the child. And then she was like, what child? Who's the child? And y'all, it's motherfucking Frank. I was like, OMG and ew and oh my god and wow. So y'all, that threw me through a loop, but once it started coming together, I already knew where this episode was going, especially from last episode or whatnot. So I don't know how, that's gonna blow the whole fucking trial up, especially if they can get Hannah and all that. If they expose all of that, and Frank is never gonna be. Oh yeah, it's so funny because Bonnie had treated Nate because Nate was trying to do all this stuff and be big and bad, and she was like, you ain't never gonna be Frank. Boop. But yeah, y'all, so that is sad for one. Very, very sad. Is abuse. Both of them had really, Hannah and Sam as kids that were neglected or whatnot by their parents, and it was said throughout the whole episode, they were neglected, they only had each other, and sometimes people confuse abuse for love because they don't know the difference, and then it was just, y'all, I was thrown through a loop for that. Great writing of that. Still don't know when we gonna see West, still don't know. And interesting thing that there was a little bloop to him because Annalise was looking at, back in the day, she was looking him up on the computer or whatnot. But yeah, so I don't know when's West gonna come in and why. And y'all, this was a good one. This was a very good episode. So I didn't want to leave it and not speak on it at all because I do want to finish this season out and talk about it. And this was a very good episode. So yeah, y'all, that is it. I just wanted to come on real fast and say that it was not too long. All right. Hope everybody's well, having a good Monday or whatever day you're watching this. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Love you, love you, love you. Peace. Bye.